Another round of applause please for Chen. Thank you.
Thank you for the warm welcome. How's everyone today? Good? Just want to check that this was. Yes, okay, good. Good morning everyone. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday. I'm so grateful to be here and for Rachel to invite me to come share our stories. The title is How Passion Led Me to Build a Jewelry Brand Worn by Jessica Alba. But really, International Women's Day is actually on Sunday. So I would also like to share with you 5 C's of what's helped me and my team actually get to today. So just a little bit about me, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jenn Low, and I'm the founder and managing director of Wanterlust+Co. I actually graduated many moons ago. I won't say how long ago, but a while ago, with a double degree in accounting and media. So much like Cik Ulan, my dad was like, you're going to be an accountant. And I was like, okay, I'll study accounting, but then I'll do it after. So what I did then was I actually went into fashion buying. And I don't know, is there anyone in fashion here in the room? Am I amongst any friends? I know Carmelia's in fashion because she's from my team, but she didn't put her hand out. I think what a lot of people don't know in fashion, in buying especially, you do have to have a firm handle on numbers. You know, like if you walk into a Uniqlo store, like how many t-shirts are in white, in black, in beige, in brown? How many did they decide to make an extra small all the way up to like double extra large? How many of those do they put in like a store, in an urban store in KL versus in the outskirts? There's actually a lot of numbers and things like that involved. So I actually cut my teeth in fashion buying years ago. And then from there, I actually came up with the brand idea for Wanterlust+Co. And I noticed a gap in the digital market for a digital jewelry brand for today's modern women that isn't just about looking good on the outside, but also about the messaging on how you feel on the inside. So I'm now also a working mom. I've got 2 little bubs right up there on the top left. My daughter Olivia is 3 years old and my baby boy Oscar is 10 months old. So hasn't been a walk in the park the last 3 years with kids, but with my strong team and support my husband over there, here we are. Husband, driver, baby daddy. I actually prepared a little video for you guys about Wanterlust. Here we go. Hi, I'm Jenn Low, the founder and managing director of Wanterlust+Co. Wanterlust+Co is a jewelry label for today's digital girl. We live to create pieces for her everyday adventures, and what really inspires us is the ability to create luxurious designer-looking pieces at an affordable price point for her. We're so lucky to have the team that we do at Wanterlust+Co HQ, from marketing to design, operations, customer service to finance. Everyone has such a diverse range of talents and personality.
我叫敖德一，我做首饰行业做了差不多15年了，在这个厂做了有9年了，一直都是做滴油这个工序，因为滴油这一行的工序也很简单，有时也很复杂吧。
我叫徐俊，做这个首饰行业差不多做了有10多年吧，主要做一些打蜡呀，然后跟一下货呀，有时候种树啊什么都可以的，然后下班就去逛逛街，然后爬一下山什么之类的。
Sorry, that slide was not supposed to. Okay, great. So what I wanted to share with you guys today is that I see a huge shift. So this year is actually our 10th year in business for Wanterlust+Co. And first of all, when the reason why I came up with this idea is because I am fully Malaysian. I spent a lot of time studying and working in Australia, but I realized that in the global scale, when you walk into a mall like Mid-Valley, Pavilion, Wanatama, every single brand that's a jewelry brand, Pandora, Swarovski, everything, I don't know, again I'm supposed to say something on camera, everything is Western. You know, there was nothing that was Malaysian. And every time I looked around at Malaysian brands, I felt like Malaysian brands were aspiring very small. Like we felt like, okay lah, good enough for Malaysia. But it's like, I feel like we can create something that's good enough for the world. You know, like especially with the digital space and with the internet. I really believe in Malaysian women, Malaysian ideas, and the creative fashion industry in Malaysia. And I also thoroughly believe that businesses don't exist just to make money. Sales is important, don't get me wrong, but it's also really important to have values. Like what makes, especially today's customer, she's very tuned in, she's smart, you know, with Google and everything's at her fingertips. So 3 years ago, after our brand journey of the first 7 years, a lot of struggles, just like Cik Gulan shared, all kinds of different things which I'll share in the slides to come. My team and I recommitted why we are doing what we're doing. And up on the screen, the 5 little icons there, is what really powers us and why we do what we do every day, especially in marketing and sales. Every single design, when it comes out via sketch into a sample, as you saw in the video earlier, we have real women wear them for 30 days, shower, sleep, yoga, swim, and see how that goes before we launch it. We also make sure that all the factories we work with are BSCI certified to ensure that minimum wages as well as proper working hours are actually enforced. We also ensure that all our production is sustainable. So all the jewelry pieces you see online, on Instagram, in our pop-up stores, they're all made from recycled brass and they're all 14 to 18 karat gold plated. So when I first came up with the idea for the brand in 2009, Instagram didn't actually exist. I want to just take a moment. How many of you are obsessed with Instagram and are on it every day? How many of you think that social media is important if you start a brand today? So when I started my brand, Facebook existed, but Instagram didn't yet exist. And just like, you know what Cik Gulan was saying, it's like you kind of take limau, you make limau ice, right? You do what you can with what you have. And at that point, so sort of to tie back into what Rachel really wanted me to dive into, a lot of people ask me often, like, how do you get all these celebrities to wear your product? And I remember right at the beginning, and fast forward today, you know, like you see on screen, Chris Tegan, Hadid, right from the beginning, I was really clear that Malaysia is my base home for my team and I, but the world, the internet is really our oyster. We obsessively Google, research every single stylist, every single magazine, every single blogger. Camila's laughing because she now runs that list with me. And we didn't just reach out to them because we wanted something. And I'll share a bit more about this shortly, just to keep time. But fast forward to today, as you guys can see on screen, it's been a really fun 10 years. So here are some of the cool girls who are strong, diverse, all from different backgrounds, all from around the world, who's worn our product, and that we're very proud to call part of our WCO Girl Gang. So if you hop onto Instagram, onto this hashtag, you'll see the community and the movement. And they inspire my team and I every day. I think it's very cool that celebs wear our product, but I especially love seeing real people wear our product. And yeah. A bit of the press and print we've been so lucky to receive. You know, I think to say it's a dream come true would be lying. I don't think 10 years ago when I came up with the idea in my bedroom, I thought that Vogue Mexico would cover us, like Elle Australia would cover us, and all from like humble Bangsa and KL. So I thought hard and long when Rachel said, you know, share how passion led you to build the brand to what it is today. 10 years, right? I wish it was 7 months, you know, like that, so I can have less slides. But then I thought I would share that. I think these are the 5 C's that really motivates and helps my team and I stay on track every day. And this is especially applicable for women. So men, you know, thank you for your sitting and listening as well. But I think for me, close to my heart is this is especially for women in the workforce. So to start off with, competence. So as you guys saw, I studied accounting and comms because my dad said no designer. I'm unless you want to be very poor. And so I decided to start my business anyways. I think my dad didn't talk to me for 7 months. He was like, you moved back, you got together with a white guy, I gave you a better life in Australia. I was like, no, I think this could really work, Dad. And I think, funnily, digressing a bit from the slide, but although the brand has had so much press from overseas, our first article in the Star newspaper, my dad cut it up, and then he framed it, and then he thought I had a real job. Gigi Hadid, no. Kendall Jenner, no. The Star, yes. But yes, coming back to the slide. To be competent, I think, I think you have to be an expert in your industry. I think of all the wonderful speakers that are about to share their stories, real stories today, I think whatever it is you're doing, you just have to get on ground. You have to get your hands really dirty, and you have to just become an expert in your industry. I think in the millennial world today, we obsess a lot about soft skills, and soft skills are very important, but hard skills are really, really, really important. Whatever it is you're doing, wherever you're at, you have to, if you're in PR, you have to learn to write. If you're not good at it, you check your work 3 times, you Google how to get good at it. And then I think definitely growing and adapting. So become an expert in your industry, and then definitely once you have ideas, you learn, you do again, you grow and you adapt from your experiences. You also have to be really action-oriented, I think, be really decisive and focused. And I think the last point on the slide is definitely being focused on solutions. I think I remind myself all the time also that one of our modern day addictions is to talk about our problems and focus so much on like what's going wrong, but if we just focus on what's going right and who can help you and what you can get out of the situation, like our energy will be so much better off channeled that way. So up on the screen you'll see the difference between fixed mindset and growth mindset. You know, I'm either good at it or I'm not, or I can learn anything I want to. I'm frustrated, I want to give up, versus I'm frustrated, but I persevere. I don't like to be challenged, versus I want to challenge myself. When I feel I'm not good, versus when I feel I learn, and so on. And I think the last bit, my abilities determine everything, versus my effort and attitude determine everything. I think very sad with the recent passing of Kobe Bryant, but I think there was a huge highlight in the media on his Mamba mentality mindset, which is that with everything negative, pressures or challenges, it really is an opportunity for us to rise from it. And here are 10 things actually that really require zero talent. I meet a lot of talented young women. I have a very young team every day, and these are the 10 things that I know for a fact require zero talent that I think sometimes we forget. You know, so definitely this, along with getting really competent with the hard skills you need. So here is actually a little story I wanted to share. So in year 2017 to 2018, my business actually grew 3x, and which was amazing. So if you see on the top left of the screen, on Instagram on the front end during Black Friday, Cyber Monday period, we got nearly 105,000 likes and nearly 2,000 comments on a Zodiac collection that we launched, which was amazing. It's every entrepreneur's dream, you know. Sales are through the roof. But on the back end, you know, it was a real mess. You know, I think we weren't set up yet to scale. Our pre-order system broke. I remember walking into the office one day, and it wasn't the ops manager that told me this, it was her subordinate, who's now still with me, but her manager's gone for that reason. But there was 700 customer service emails that came in one day, and we had no customer service specialist for that. So I was customer service specialist along with everyone else in my team. And it was a hard time, but we kind of like surfaced above it. And then 10 months later, we decided to outsource our warehousing to 3PL. And I think what I'm trying to say here is you have to get really good at what you're really good at, but you also have to be very crystal clear on what you're never going to be good at and what you might not need to be good at anyways, and learn to outsource those bits and realize that as a leader or as a team player, it doesn't make you any less valuable. It just means you're practicing so much self-awareness and just charging ahead. And yeah. So the second point here is on confidence. I think self-confidence is a real superpower. If you really believe believe in yourself, you know, think magic really starts to happen. You know, I think we have to be really confident in our ability to lead, to learn, to find solutions, to pivot, find humor to carry on, be open to newness, set goals, motivate ourselves, find the silver lining in the situation, etc., etc. You get the picture. And I think it sounds simple, right? But you really have to get out of bed in the morning and be like, you know, I can do this today. And the things that I can't, I'm gonna have a really good attitude about it and get my team together and motivate people to come together with me to get this done. So one of the things I wanted to talk about also is what confidence actually looks like. We put this together really quickly in a few days, but actually my story is a little unrelated to this. But up on the slide, on the top left was a talk I gave at Martrade a couple of years ago, or 2 years ago. And then on the top right is 12 a.m. I think. My team and I doing a group huddle during that same Black Friday mess. And the story I want to share with you actually relates to my nanny. And so I have 2 kids, as I shared earlier, and my job's quite grueling and I travel a lot for work. And I think there's a moment in media at the moment where we spotlight a lot on things that look really cool on the front end on social media. Something that's big and great, and that, like, being an entrepreneur is a buzzword, being a founder is a buzzword, having a specific title is a buzzword. There's a certain shape of what confidence looks like. But going back to my nanny, like, she's been with me for 7 years, and without her I wouldn't be here today. Without her I wouldn't be able to build the brand I've built, have the team, have the energy to motivate my team, you know, plot of how to get jewelry on that Bella Hadid, you know. And she, you know, lives away from her kids to help me with my family. And she wakes up every morning, she has such a great attitude, you know. Some days when things are really hard, I really appreciate her. And she's so confident in sometimes saying to me, like, don't worry man, you go and you do this, like, I'll sort this out. And I think what I want to spotlight is that, just a little reminder even for myself, that confidence is sincerity, it's being genuine, it's being committed to something that's bigger than you, you know, and confidence can come in so many different shapes. The third point, so I'm halfway at this point, is actually community. Community is a big thing that's very close to my heart. I think, especially in Silicon Valley, with what's happening with WeWork, with Elon Musk, with Tesla, we see that how unhealthy it can be when all we want to do is just grow things as big as they can and either make it work or blow it up. And I think there's a lot of different strategies when you build a business, right? A lot of you in the audience probably come from different types of businesses, like one size doesn't quite fit all. But this topic, when it comes to building a brand, and building something sustainable is very, very close to my heart. I think this is the most important C of all. I think that, you know, successful brands of the future care about people, not branding. You know, you care about the experience your customer has. You care about your team. You care about your makers, as I shared in the video earlier. Are people getting paid what they should get paid? Are they eating on time? And I think gone are the days that businesses should exist just for profit, but I think this should be so much more focused also on experience, purpose, and values, and not just as a motivational poster on your boardroom meeting, you know, in your boardroom meeting room in the office, but that every single person in your team really believes that, and that you make it known to everyone on social media, through marketing, through storytelling, that this is what you stand for, and you make decisions based on that. Anything that's not in line with your values, your purpose, and being genuine, you don't do that. You say no, even if it makes you money in the short term, because it's not worth it. I think a government can learn something from that. The concept of servant leadership, which you can see up on screen. I think that 21st century leaders, if you look at Obama, they drive from the bottom up, they drive from the outside in, and I think it makes a huge difference, and people rally for that, people come together for that, people come together for people. Touching on politics, I guess recent elections, you know, what touches us when we go on social media isn't some fancy person up on stage looking perfect, it's the people huddling outside waiting for results, it's do people get to keep their jobs or not, you know, it's people's real stories, isn't it, which is also why we're here today. This quote from Sheryl Sandberg I think leadership is also about making others better as a result of your presence. You know, and this touches even on confidence. Earlier we talked about this, and what life goals should look like. You know, it's not just likes on social media, it's not just sales numbers, but it's also all of these other things, because it's sustainable, it drives community, it brings people together. So, the popular topic, one of the most commonly asked questions for me from everyone around the world whenever we do an interview for the brand, is how our products have come and been seen on XYZ, you know, and they're all very beautiful people, right? So just using Bella Hadid as an example, I was very, very lucky to be invited to a closed dinner event that was hosted by TAG, the watch brand, and I was seated with her, and of course, as with everyone at the dinner, I really wanted a photo with her, right? And she was so beautiful and so eloquent and everything. And I, of course, brought a little gift for her from Wanterlust. And right before I took the photo with her, I knew at that point in Malibu, in California, in the US, where her family home is, there were huge fires. It received a lot less publicity compared to the recent Australian bushfires, but there were huge fires and homes were destroyed and people were really, you know, it was all over American press especially. And so I asked her, I said, right before the photo, I said, how's your family doing? How's everyone back home? And you could see on someone's face, she was like, she paused for a moment, because everyone else, it was just picture next. And she was like, thank you for asking, they're actually doing good. And then, of course, next day I saw on social media she flew off to Japan. I expected nothing. With the celebs, you know, I always say, I just hope you enjoy it, with whoever we work with. And a week later, she, as you guys know, is dating The Weeknd and was in Universal Studios in Singapore, and she was just wearing everything Wanterlust. And my team and I were just dying because, I mean, it's Bella Hadid. She's the face of Dior, you know, she's on the runway for Chanel. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I would like to believe that the reason why she wore she wore the brand, this humble Malaysian brand based in Bangsar for the last 10 years, is because, you know, I would hope that we talked about something real, and that made the difference. So the fourth point that I really wanted to bring up, and this, I recently watched this special on Netflix by Brené Brown. She's a very, very famous workplace psychologist and also very renowned in research and works with a lot of tech companies in Silicon Valley to help them with management, motivation, general, you know, strategy and direction that relate to people and how to communicate. And this movement she started, she wrote a book on this topic. It's about how being clear is kind. So especially in Asian culture, I think, when we communicate, we are so desperate to be nice. You know, and I've been so guilty of this too. I'm like, I want to make them like me. I hope they like me. You know, I don't want to say something offensive. You know, I haven't been brought up that way. I shouldn't say anything controversial. I shouldn't disagree. But then I learned the hard way, really hard way, right? That actually being clear is kind. I think a lot of times we avoid being clear with someone. Like, I might have a conversation with you and be like, oh, anything was okay, no, it's fine, no big deal, no big deal. But I probably have a thought. I probably know what I want. But just because I want to be nice, I'm like, it's no big deal, it's no big deal. It probably is a big deal, because time is of the essence. We'll always go, you know, everything needs to be done yesterday. So I think feeding people half-truths or bullshit just to make themselves feel better so you can feel that you're being nice is the wrong way to communicate. I'm really passionate about this topic. I think finding the room for honesty to say to someone, hey, this is what I really think. I think you're really great at this and this and this. I'm here with you. Let's work on this together. I have some feedback for you, and let's do this together. You're not doing it alone. And then talking to people rather than about people. You know how often are we at the water cooler grabbing something and then saying something about someone else to like, oh my god, that meeting went on because, you know, so-and-so didn't prepare and blah, blah, blah. But you could have just said that to so-and-so, not to someone else at the water cooler. That was not constructive, you know. And I'm really passionate about this because I think we're seeing a huge shift in millennial managers, you know, and like even the votes we cast and what we want for the future generation, what we want from our future workplaces, the energy we want to bring into a workplace, and what you want to be known for, you know, like when you come into a meeting, they know, okay, this is what this person's going to bring. And so I'm really passionate about this, and I hope you guys hop onto Netflix and watch this special by Brene Brown. I'm also really passionate now. I'm passionate about everything, guys. That's why Rachel chose my topic to be about passion. But I have a little daughter. How many of you have kids? Some, okay, fine. How many of you have daughters? Okay, let's try something else. How many of you were told as little girls or when you were a little girl that you were bossy? Okay. How many of you have heard the term bossy when you were growing up in school, teachers just shaming other kids? So I love this. So Amy Poehler is an actress. So she comes from entertainment, from Hollywood, different industry, from Sheryl Sandberg, obviously CEO of Facebook. But you know, Sheryl Sandberg has famously come up with her community lean in. You know, if you're a woman in the audience today, I challenge you to say what you really think. You know, like, be smart on how you say it. But today or tomorrow, especially with your husbands, say what you really think at work especially. Like, don't be afraid to say you have an idea. Don't be afraid to be ambitious. I think at work you're really there to get things done, right? And grow professionally. You're competing with yourself really. So you don't want to be exactly where you're at a year from now, right? You want to grow your skills, you want to sharpen your soft skills, you want to have better hard skills, you want results, you want for your peers to appreciate you when you're tag team on that project. They're like, oh, okay, this person's in this project, we're now going to be the A team, we're going to win. So don't be afraid to be bossy. Now, how do we get here, tying this back to the topic, how do we get here as a brand? I think of all the 4 C's so far, I have to say, and I hate for it to sound like it's coming out of a rule book, but just having really clear strategy and really clear brand values, and then persistently and consistently communicating that energy and that purpose to your customers, to your trade partners, to the press, to your team, to yourself. You know, I learned the hard way also that if everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. Like if you get in to work on a Monday, tell yourself you're going to do 3 things this week. You're only going to do 3 big things this week. That's all you're going to do. And on Friday, give yourself an internal high five if you can leave work on time, number 1. Number 2, you can check off those 3 things. And imagine over the course of the weeks in a year, how much you get done. And imagine if you're on someone's team when they're like that, how clear things are to you. And how you feel like you're winning. Because I think also we live in a society that's constantly demanding more from every single thing, and I'm very guilty of that. But you know, I think we forget to stop and just be like, let's just measure things in small pieces and get to a year from now, and you're so much further than you ever would have been if you're just spinning yourself in circles. If you're spinning in circles, everyone's spinning in circles, you're still in the same spot in the circle, right? You're not forward. So I think, if anything, I really have to credit clarity, brand values, and making decisions every day that align to the purpose of what we want to stand for as people, as a team, as a business. That's really why we're here, where we are today. And the last one is creativity. I'm really big on this. Maybe because I come from a creative industry and I'm maybe a creative person, but Einstein has famously said that creativity is intelligence having fun. So if a scientist can say that, then it's legit, right? But creative leadership is when you can combine creativity, which is your ability to generate new ideas, together with leadership, which is the ability to rally and motivate your team to come together and execute seamlessly. I think that traditional leaders, and you see this a lot in MNCs, right? They tend to execute tried and true strategies, cost cutting, extend the same thing, repeat the same thing of what's working. But then if you look at the startup ecosystem in Malaysia, in the US, anywhere in the world, they want to do things that are different. They want to try things that are different. Huda Katan, the founder of a very famous beauty brand, she says, I don't know the rules. My whole life I've been coloring outside the lines. And it's okay to color outside the lines. The key differences between traditional leadership and creative leadership. After preparing this presentation, I've decided to also print this out and put this on the desk, on my desk as a reminder for myself. But it's basically one way versus being interactive, concerned with being right versus just being real, following a manual or just improvising, avoiding mistakes versus learning from mistakes, reliability versus validity, prioritizing harmony versus conversation. And I actually want to pull this point out because it relates back to what we talked about earlier on communication. And again, this is very Asian, this is how I was brought up. You have to make sure everyone is okay before you get the work done. You're prioritizing harmony versus prioritizing, the results. So if you have a group of like-minded people in your team and you guys are all clear, okay, all of us are here, we're running there. Let's run in one direction, right? Then you're then just focused on how to get there. Not whether, you're not stopping between here and there, like, are you okay, is this done, is it not done, do I need to babysit you? And I'm sure, how many of you are managers in the room? How many of you have worked with good managers? How many of you have worked with bad managers? So, okay, I'm not supposed to do this, but what do you think the key difference is between someone who's a good or bad manager? Can one person just shout?
Spot out the problems and talk to you personally.
Yeah.
Identify how can you make better. So basically, it finds you about every Friday morning. She brings you to a breakfast to talk about how can you do better in the way that what is supposed to be.
And she connects with you as a person.
Yes.
And that's made the difference for you. Yeah, thank you for sharing. So yeah, community and conversation, exactly that. And a closed system versus open system, and then limited feedback versus just unlimited, critique is probably the wrong word, but more like how to be better together, right? And so for those of you who follow the brand, you'll see, sorry, this video is actually supposed to be quiet, but you'll see that we actually have a WCO pop-up shop in Bangsa Village, and in second week of November last year, the team at Bangsa Village came to me and said, Jen, we have a spot because the guy was in there pulled out and we have an open spot. And I've actually been working with distributors for most of my career, meaning we've never directly opened a pop-up shop, we've never directly been offline. We live comfortably in the internet, behind our screens, in our offices. And the idea, to have a shop 24/7 open, that's not run by a distributor, that's run by myself and my team, honestly was really scary to us, because when you're so used to online retailing, offline is a different beast, right? And it's open for judgment all the time from 10 to 10. But when he came to me and he presented the opportunity, he gave me a really good rental deal, but at the same time he said, you will have 3 weeks. I need you to open by the end of November. And I think one thing I've learned, which I have to thank my team for, is we come together and we assess the facts and we say, do we think this is right? Because I want them to buy into the idea and not just me tell them, let's do this. And everyone was like, really surprised me, because mind you, we just came out it's the week of Black Friday, literally that week. And so we constructed everything in 5 days, we planned everything in 3 weeks, and we opened. And it's just been incredible, like the community of women that show up, that understand what each piece stands for, the product name. They bring their moms. Actually, I probably should have put in the slide, like their grandmas. We started a hashtag like moms of Wanterlust+Co. There were boyfriends and husbands always standing outside holding handbags, waiting for their wives. And again, this then is just us basically being brave, relentless, and at the same time being creative to just, if an opportunity presents itself in life, just if it aligns with your brand values, go for it. And being a bit crazy, would you say? Crazy, yeah. So to sum up, actually, one of the things which also then ties back to what I was sharing about my nanny, right? I think leadership begins with us, with ourselves. I'm genuinely quite over one shape of leadership. There's just too much emphasis on being an entrepreneur or this and that, but if you're an ace at doing what you do wherever you are, you're a great leader, because managing ourselves in this day and age when everything is so comparatively driven and so competitive, is an achievement. You should be proud of yourself. And I think leadership isn't just a big title. It's wherever you are today. If you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're anything, I think leadership, like one of the key things that I learned during this time actually is how amazing people can be when you least expect it. So going back to the pop-up shop earlier, because it was such a rush project, we didn't actually end up hiring full-time staff, so we had to use an agency that actually sources for part-time students, and based on their timing and their roster, they slot them in, and most of them are on a break from their college classes. And I think 2 or 3 of them, one girl in particular, Leanne, she came to work and on the first day, and I was like, because she was so quiet, she was very meek. But then we shared our brand values with her, and then she was there to see how excited people were about the product, and then she saw celebrities show up that was helpful too. When she saw Nilofa and Marina Mahathir, she was like, oh, people like the brand now. And her last day is next week, and I'm so sad, but I'm also so proud of her because in the time she's been with us during the pop-up, she's grown so much, and she takes so much ownership. She'll text me separately, be like, Jen, I only have 5 boxes left. It's a Saturday. The head office didn't send me any, so then on Monday I fry that person, but then I go to the office and I drive her more boxes first for Saturday's sales. But I think she really impressed me, and I think inspiration and leadership can be from anything and anyone, as long as you bring people together on the right values and mission. And then this, second last slide, we're almost there, guys. Arianna Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post, very popular media portal in the US, based in New York. She says, don't try to dance better than anyone else, just dance better than yourself. And that's really, really great. You know, it's not just good enough, it's great. So here's a recap of the 5 C's. Thank you for spending your time with me today. If you're curious about more things around community and branding and digital marketing, please hit me up on Instagram, and enjoy the rest of the sessions today.